UFC Fight Night Tampa is tomorrow. Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley. And I'm going to be going through the whole card, starting with the prelims, ending with the main event. And I'm going to get right into this, starting with Josephine Knudsen versus Piera Rodriguez. I've got Josephine Knudsen. I think she's going to outstrike Piera Rodriguez. She's got good kickboxing. She's coming from a good gym. She's on a winning streak as well. And I just think she's going to win by decision and remain undefeated in this fight. Moving on to the next one, we've got Davy Grant versus Raymond Tavares. This is a little bit of a tricky fight. It's a close fight, but I'll take Raymond Tavares. I know when he first started in the UFC, he lost in the Contender Series, first round KO. Then he came back a month later on the Contender Series, and then he won by first round KO. So I think in this fight, it'll tell us a lot about where Raymond is at. I almost picked Davy Grant because he is actually kind of decent, but he's just too old to trust, especially at bantamweight at this point. So I'm going to go with Raymond Tavares. I think he's just been looking a lot better recently. And like I was saying, bantamweight isn't the division to pick older fighters, especially 37 to 38 plus. Hanging around, I don't know, it's just not a good idea. So give me Raymond Tavares by decision. Moving on to the next fight, I've got Miranda Maverick versus Jamie Lynn Horth. I just don't think Jamie Lynn Horth is that good, so this is kind of a simple fight. I've got Miranda Maverick. Jamie Lynn, she has bad ground game, and Miranda Maverick is just the better grappler, so I'm going to take her by decision win. Next up, we've got Miles Johns versus Felipe Lima. This is a very good fight, a competitive fight. Miles Johns is a wrestler. Felipe Lima, I've seen this guy. He's very talented. Miles Johns, he's going to be a great opponent, though. He's been KO'd by Mario Batista and lost in some of his other fights. But I just think Felipe Lima, he's younger. He's very promising. He's way more skilled than Miles Johns. He also has the submission threat in his back pocket when things go to the ground. So I think Lima should win this fight by submission. I'll say in either the second or most likely the third. Moving on, I think this is the closest fight on the card. Sean Woodson versus Fernando Padilla. This is a creature feature. We got two extendo-built motherfuckers, way too long. But besides that, I think Sean Woodson, he's just kind of a freak. He's way too tall for featherweight. His defense is okay. It's pretty decent. He uses like awkward movement to get around the cage, and it's one of his better tools. But Fernando Padilla, he's surprisingly good. I didn't think he would beat Julian Erosa, and he shocked me in that fight. He had great striking. He's going to be faster than Sean Woodson on the feet. And I know it's dumb to use MMA math, but for this fight, I'm gonna use it because Padilla beat Erosa, and Julian Erosa subbed Sean Woodson, so I'm gonna take Fernando Padilla just because of that. I think he'll get Woodson up against the fence with his striking, and once he has Woodson up against the fence, Woodson's just gonna kind of flail his arms out, trying to defend shots. And I think that's when Fernando will capitalize. Sorry. I think that's when Fernando will capitalize in the fight and start to find his way to victory. So I've got Padilla by unanimous decision. Moving on, Joel Alvarez versus Drakkar Klose. In Joel Alvarez's last fight, I picked Alves Brenner to win. I didn't think Joel would be durable enough to handle Alves Brenner, but I was actually completely wrong in the opposite sense. Alves wasn't durable enough to handle Joel. He looked really great in that fight. He did Alves dirty. It was a great matchup. He was outstriking, out-grappling Alves Brenner, picking his shots very well. He already fought Arman Sarukian as well, so that's a great... even if he lost, that's a great name to have fought in your resume and just have fought him. Drakkar Klose, he's okay. He's decent. But he did get KO'd by old man Dariush, and that's not a good look or looking now. But, I mean, Beneil Dariush was pretty good when he was on his run. So, I mean, take that loss as you will. I mean, Klaus is, like I'm saying, he's not a bad fighter. He's a decent fighter. But if this goes to decision, I just don't see them giving it to Drakkar. They're going to give it to Joel because he's the more popular name, things like that. But I don't see this going to decision. I've got Joel by either TKO or sub in the second round. Moving on, we've got Michael Johnson versus Ottoman Azaitar. This is another one of them close, tricky matchups. Michael Johnson, he could get chin, but I just don't trust the cardio of Ottoman Azaitar. Plus, Ottoman Azaitar, he's pretty inactive. He only fights once a year. I know he's younger than Michael Johnson, and because of that and just his power too, he should be able to get a win, but I just don't see it happening. Hopefully Michael Johnson doesn't get slept though, but give me Michael Johnson in this matchup. Moving on, Navajo Sterling versus Tuco Tokos. Tuco Tokos hasn't beaten anyone good. Navajo Sterling, we seen him on the Contenders series. He looked pretty good. I put him in my best prospects video. To me, this fight is the easiest fight to pick. Navajo Sterling should win this. He trains with Izzy at City Kickboxing. There are some holes in his game, though, like striking defense, things like that. So I'm curious of if anyone can expose him later on. Probably. I mean, it is the UFC, but I don't think Tuco Tokos is the guy to do it to Navajo Sterling. So, yeah, give me Navajo Sterling in this fight. Moving on. Adrian Yanez versus Daniel Marcos. This is a great fight right here. I'm picking Adrian Yanez. Adrian Yanez has the speed and the boxing offense advantage. He does have a weak chin, and he's not as technically sound as Daniel Marcos. He also doesn't have the diverse skill set that Marcos has. But what I think Marcos doesn't have that Adrian Yanez does have is power, especially in the striking. Marcos, I think to win, he's going to have to break down Adrian systematically. Leg kicks, using his boxing, mixing up strikes, mixing in takedowns to just scramble Adrian Yanez's brain. Just have him completely overthinking with using all types of different techniques, mixing in grappling, wrestling, striking, etc., kicks, whatever. But I think Adrian Yanez is going to bite down on the mouthpiece. I think he's going to take those leg kicks from Marcos, step in, and land the two. Each time that Marcos is pumping the leg kick, trying to get some type of kicks going, I just see Adrian closing the distance, landing the boxing, landing more powerful punches, and just kind of getting the edging him out through that. Like I was saying earlier, though, Marcos is more well-rounded. He is more skilled. He has more methods to win rounds with his grappling, submission threat, etc. The leg kicks will probably discourage Adrian Yanez from closing in the distance, things like that, like the Jonathan Martinez fight. But the difference between Jonathan Martinez and Jonathan Martinez finished Adrian Yanez. The difference between Martinez and Marcos is that Martinez has a lot of power in his kicks. You could tell he really snaps the kick. Marcos, I just don't think he has that X factor, that finishing ability with the power. I know he has some finishes on his record, and who knows, like I was saying, maybe he does systematically break down Adrian Yanez, but I'm just going to kind of be an idiot here. I fuck with Adrian Yanez. I'm just going to pick him in this fight. I got him by third round finish. If this does go to decision, though, bet your ass Daniel Marcos is going to win, especially because he's got the undefeated record. They're not going to want to take that away from him. This isn't the smartest or most logical pick, by the way, to pick Adrian Yanez. So for anyone who's like, oh, my God, fucking casual, bro. Just know, bro, like, I'm just picking what I want to pick, bro. I don't have a lot of underdog picks on this card anyway, so just give me Adrian Yanez as an underdog. Moving on, though, we've got Vitor Petrino versus Dustin Jacoby. This is another tricky fight to pick, but I'm going to go with Vitor Petrino. I hope that the Smith loss was just a fluke, and I hope that he has the right attitude heading into this fight to get the W. Vitor Petrino has good power in his hands, good boxing ability. Jacoby, he's been in a lot of close fights and things like that. He's only lost to some of the best, like Khalil Roundtree. He had a very close fight with him. But I just feel like if this fight goes to the decision, I don't think they will give it to Jacoby. You know, he's kind of over the hill at this point. Vitor Petrino is the up-and-comer. And for that reason, I just think they'll give it to Vitor if it goes to decision. But I do think Vitor Petrino has the ability to finish this fight, and I do see that happening. I got him by either first or second round finish, TKO. Moving on, Manel Kape versus Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva is on a 4-fight win streak, but it is against somewhat weak opposition. At the same time, Manel Kape, in my opinion, at this point, is kind of an aura merchant, especially after the Makayev fight. I know he injured his toe in that fight, but the whole build-up and everything, I was really expecting a lot more out of that fight. But besides that, I mean, we know Manel Kape's well-tested. He fought Kai Asakura, other great fighters in the UFC as well. Tons of great wins on his resume. But I just kind of feel like he thrives off of aura a little bit. Let me know what you guys think about that. But either way, Manel, I think in this fight, he will be faster than Bruno Silva, especially in the striking with the feints, in and out movement, etc. I think Bruno Silva, he might be able to win a round or so, but overall, Manel will be looking in this fight to make a statement, especially after the Makayev performance, things like that, really left a bad taste in the fans' mouths. So give me Manel Kape probably by majority decision. Moving on to the co-main event, we've got Cub Swanson versus Billy Quarantillo. This is another close fight on the card. I know what I said about lighter weight classes and not picking the older fighter because weight discrepancies, things like that, being older, it's harder to drop down and be able to stay as durable, especially as you get older. But in this fight, I just think Cub Swanson is gonna win this. I know the Edson Barbosa was a brutal finish against Billy Quarantillo, and I picked Billy to win that fight. And then also Billy lost to Clay Guida in a grappling event. Plus he has other losses, Shane Burgos, Gavin Tucker. I just feel like he's not able to pass up that next level of competition. And I know he has what it takes to possibly move up, but he's just getting older at this point. He's not as durable as we kind of saw when he first was fighting in 2020. I feel like he had, some durability. He was able to weather some of those fights out. But as we saw, Billy can be outstruck. We've seen it before. I don't think he has, like I was saying in some of the other fights, that X factor to really finish Cub. I mean, maybe he can. Cub is older and over the hill at this point too. But I just kind of don't see it happening. I think Cub is too crafty. He's going to be using his slick veteran moves and whatnot to try and finish Billy. If Billy does win, it'll be by decision. But give me Cub Swanson to put together the boxing combos and get a finish in probably the second round. All right, moving on to the main event. Colby Covington versus Joaquin Buckley. So originally this fight was supposed to be Joaquin versus Ian Gary. But, everything got switched around last minute. So now we got Colby versus Joaquin Buckley. This is still a great fight. Pretty competitive. But I'm going to have to go with Joaquin Buckley. Colby, I just think at this point he's too washed. And I feel like we really saw that in the Leon fight. He didn't have shit for Leon. Leon was outworking him, outstriking him with the slick outside work, beating up his legs with kicks. And I just kind of don't like where Colby's head is at. He's talking about gambling, becoming a pro gambler on MMA Guru's podcast, and the way he looked on the scales during the weight cut too, his eyes with the bags under and things like that, he just didn't look like very locked, and he looked kind of, you know what I mean, not all the way there. Joaquim's also talking about seeing him around like the hotel, I guess, and he's like all like kind of being alone and just kind of on some weird shit, you know what I mean? I just don't think his confidence is all the way there. And I feel like the pressure is on big time for Colby. He knows that if he doesn't win this, he's not going to get another crack at the shot. He's not going to get another shot at the belt. You know what I mean? I feel like we all know this. Joaquim, on the other hand, I feel like he's finally found his weight class. You know, we've seen him at middleweight and then moving down to lightweight, and the whole fluctuation between that. Kind of like Kevin Holland a little bit, but the difference is Joaquim now, he's looking so good. He's refined his style. You know, he's worked on his wrestling. His ground game's a lot better. And he's really looking to make a genuine run at the title. The way he's talking in his interviews too, his journey to the belt, things like that, these things make me believe in him more. And I just like what he's doing. I like where he's at mentally. The shape he's in as well. He is in phenomenal shape on the scales. And he's just calm, man. I feel like everything, like the ball is completely in Joaquim's court. Like, I don't really see how he loses this. I feel like he's going to be dominating on the feet. He'll probably be stuffing the takedowns and then making Colby pay once the fight gets to the ground with ground and pound. I don't really see him threatening submissions, but working his way up and just outpacing, outworking Colby and probably finishing him. If I had to guess, 4th or 5th round TKO. Because Colby is pretty durable. But yeah, I think Joaquim's gonna beat the brakes off of him. He's in that championship mentality. He's found the weight class. He's got all the right adjustments. He seems to be at a good gym too. I just don't see how he loses this one. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know y'all's best underdog pick or who y'all are most confident in. And yeah, let me know who y'all got in the comments below. Take care, peace, and I'll see you in the next one.